I discovered that a student used sign language to discuss breaking into my home and had been emotionally and sexually assaulted. I'm gonna try to keep this as short as possible. I'm not sure if this is the right place for this story, but I need to tell someone this story. English is not my first language. I'm an art teacher in the Netherlands. I have an amazing class with 21 kids. The majority of them are really sweet, but there is this one kid, let's call her Jane. She has autism and she seems to like me a little too much. She would do her best to be extra nice to me and would defend me whenever one of her other classmates weren't listening or being rude. As far as I know, she doesn't do this with her other teachers. She has a friend group of about 3 others which she always sits with, and whenever they talk there is always one of them that looks at me. It gives me the feeling that they are talking about me, which is kinda creepy, but I guess as a teacher you can expect it. I have always kind of got the feeling that Jane likes me. For Valentine's Day she bought a rose for me. Anonymous, but I know it was her because of the handwriting on the card. On Monday, she was always earlier to class than the rest, 5 minutes earlier than class started, and she would be slow with making her work on purpose so she could stay after class with me. She would also always tell me stories about things at home that she doesn't like about her family and other stuff. She would also very often come into class with bruises and other injuries, but that might be for another story, and she would just be overly nice to me. I would never call her out on any of it because I thought that maybe I was just delusional and it was just her being different, but here comes the actual part on why I'm writing. Last week I was teaching them and Jane and her friends were speaking in sign language. Usually they would just be talking, but Jane was sitting alone on the other side of the classroom because she and her friends were being quite annoying. I know sign language because my brother is deaf, but I never told the class this so they didn't know. Apparently Jane and her friends were talking about me, how Jane wanted to find out where I lived. She does know the town I live in, and wanted to break into my home and do things to me. I can't really go into detail, but that's one thing I heard. I also found out she's stalking me on my way from work to the bus stop and on social media. She also fantasizes about me, and I heard many other things that I can't really say here. I haven't gone to work since because I don't think I can work at that school anymore. I feel bad for Jane that she doesn't see me in class anymore, but I don't want to risk anything. What do I do? Should I go back? I have no idea why I'm even posting here. I'm just so creeped out and I have no idea what to do. Edit. I have seen people complain about my spelling and some other things. I'm 21, Jane is 12. I was writing this on my break with my other job, so that's why a lot of things are a little weirdly written. I have also never posted on Reddit before, so that's also why. Edit 2, I'm gonna talk with her tomorrow at school. Edit 3. No, I'm not gonna talk to her alone. I'm asking 2 others to join us. I could update you all tomorrow. But seeing as many people refuse to believe that my story is true, I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that. I'd rather not get more hate. Last edit for now. Best I can do is update in 2 days. Tomorrow I'm gonna talk with Jane, thanks to everyone. Relevant comments. If this is real, then you have an obligation to report it, and the bruises. I have reported things that have happened to Jane's mentor. Let's just say that her mentor isn't exactly the best person ever. I am reporting it, but Jane's mentor doesn't really care for her students and refuses to do anything. From OOP, not trying to be rude, but I didn't say I was a male teacher. I'm a woman. Update. Hi everyone, here is the update. Once again, thanks to all the support. This is written late at night and I'm tired, so it's once again very poorly written, but I will try my best. So I talked with Jane, her mentor, and someone else from school. I talked with them alone before we talked with Jane so they would understand the situation better. Jane's mentor was the one to talk the most because I wasn't sure what to say, but when Jane's mentor, let's just call her Maya, asked why Jane did all of this, Jane started crying and didn't want to talk anymore. Maya wanted me to leave because she believed Jane didn't want to talk because I was there, so I left. A little bit later I was called by Maya. She wanted me to come and talk about what happened and what Jane told her. Like a lot of you already thought, Jane had a rough time at home and was indeed being abused, not physically by her parents but emotionally. Her parents constantly favored her younger sisters over her and, in Jane's words, don't care about her. Her older sister would regularly bring multiple boys home while babysitting Jane and her sisters, which is probably one of the things Jane learned about sexual stuff. A lot of others in the comments thought Jane was being sexually abused at home, but that's not what is going on. Jane told Maya that her other classmate, Luca, editor's note, I chose a gender-neutral name as we do not know anything else about this person, who is 2 years older, due to having to repeat a year, sexually abuses Jane. Jane says that Luca claims that this is what love is, and that's why Jane thought that it was okay to say those things about me because she loves me. Jane explained to Maya that she didn't mean it like that and that she wouldn't want to hurt me. Apparently Jane had the feeling that she was in love with me and told this to her friends. They taught her that the things she said, like stalking me and potentially breaking into my house, are part of being in love, and that's why she did it. I saw another comment saying that Jane acts like this towards me because I'm one of the few nice people in her life. I'm not sure. Jane did not say anything that would prove that, although I think that's probably what's going on, and that's why she thinks she's in love with me. I really can't think of any other reason why a 12-year-old would like me. This is all I know now. All happened today. Although I don't think I'm gonna get more updates on the situation. Maya is, like I mentioned in a comment, not one of the best people ever. So I doubt she will involve me further. But if everything Jane says is true, I hope she gets some help and possibly a new home. I would love to update further, but that's only if I get updates myself. Have a good night to everyone still awake. Now to the next story, Story 2. Am I the asshole for not trying harder to inform my ex about our son's passing? Now I'm being accused of hiding it out of spite. I apologize in advance for any formatting issues as I'm on my phone, and this is a throwaway account since my ex follows my main one. My partner and I, both 28 at the time, had been together for 4 years when I found out I was pregnant. Initially, I didn't want to go through with the pregnancy because my job had promising opportunities for advancement, but after many discussions, we decided to have the baby. At around 20 weeks, just after finding out the baby's gender, my partner disappeared. He stopped answering calls and messages, and I eventually found out through his mother that he had moved back in with her, feeling overwhelmed by the situation. Although he continued to contribute financially by transferring his share of the bills, I had no contact with him. I even tried visiting him, but there was no response. By the time I was 27 weeks along, I gave up trying to reach out and accepted the reality of becoming a single mother. I prepared for the baby on my own, buying everything necessary. At 31 weeks, I started experiencing pain but dismissed it as Braxton Hicks contractions. Shortly before 32 weeks, my water broke and I went into labor. My baby was born prematurely and was immediately taken to the NICU. I tried to contact my ex and his mother again, but there was no response. Less than a week later, my son passed away due to complications from his early birth. Once more, I attempted to reach my ex and his mother, leaving voicemails and messages, but still heard nothing. The following weeks were a blur as my parents helped me arrange the funeral. They also tried to contact my ex and his family without success. Eventually, I stopped trying. I felt broken and couldn't bear the weight of trying to reach out any longer. After the funeral, I told my family not to bother with any further attempts. 5 months after our son's birth and death, my ex suddenly appeared at my flat. He let himself in while I was out, and when I returned, he immediately became hostile, demanding to see our son. When I told him what had happened, he became extremely upset and stormed out. Shortly after, his mother and other family members bombarded me with angry calls and messages, accusing me of deliberately withholding the news of our son's death out of spite. It has been nearly 3 weeks since this confrontation, and they continue to treat me horribly. When I confided in my sister, she said that while she understands I was going through a lot, she feels that I could have tried harder to inform them. This comment has left me questioning whether I should have done more. Did I truly not do enough? Was I wrong to stop trying? I lost my son too and was struggling immensely. I'm not sure if I'm in the wrong here. Edit. Thank you all so much for your responses. I'm sorry I haven't replied to any, but reading them has been overwhelming. Writing this out and reliving the experience has been incredibly hard. I'm going to drink some wine, read your kind words, and cry myself to sleep. I've recently moved into a new flat, and thankfully, my dad has covered the cost of a private therapist who I see regularly. Second edit. I didn't expect this post to get so much attention, but if you happen to read this, Lewis, read it carefully, then leave me alone. I'm going to show my therapist this post and discuss it with her. I appreciate all of your support, even though it made me cry a lot. I'm signing off for now, but thank you again. Update post. 2.5 months later. The original post was locked, but I've received messages asking how I'm doing, so before I close this account, I wanted to let everyone know that I'm alright. The move went smoothly, and I'm far enough away that there's no risk of running into my ex or his family. I've changed my number and deleted all social media, so I haven't heard from them in about 6 weeks. My sister apologized for her earlier comments, but our relationship isn't quite the same. I'm still in therapy and trying to move forward. I visit my son's grave when I can, and thankfully, my ex and his family don't know where it is, so I can do so in peace. Thank you all for your support. I've found myself revisiting the previous post many times over the last few months, and it has helped more than I can express. This is my final update, and I'm leaving this account now, but I want to say thank you again. Relevant comments. When asked to clarify what her sister said or was thinking, my dad was very upset when he found out what my sister said to me. She claimed she didn't realize how much effort we had put into contacting my ex and thought I had just given up like when I was pregnant. However, this seems like an excuse because she was aware of our attempts. Although her apology seemed genuine, and she has since criticized how my ex and his family have behaved, our relationship remains strained. Final update, 8 months later. I had forgotten about Reddit until I was clearing out some apps for phone space, so I thought I'd give one final update before saying goodbye. I wish I could say everything is amazing now, new job, new partner and all that. But it's nothing quite that exciting. I moved into my new flat last year and it's nice, though I had forgotten how expensive it is to live alone. I'm managing though. I did get a new job, similar pay and role to the old one, but my ex doesn't know where it is. There was no dramatic encounter or anything. I just wanted a fresh start along with my new home. As for dating, I haven't felt ready to get back into it yet. I'm taking things one step at a time. My relationship with my sister remains limited, LC. Although she apologized for what she said, I still feel hurt, especially knowing she occasionally still talks to my ex. It's not some dramatic revelation, she just chats with him if they bump into each other. But it still stings after everything that happened. I'm still in therapy and even doubled the length of my sessions around the 1-year anniversary of my son's passing. Thankfully, my ex didn't show up at his grave when I visited, or at least not when I was there. That visit was incredibly painful, and I spent several days afterward just crying and drinking. It was a tough time. My dad has been my rock throughout all of this. I'm still paying him back for all the support he's given me, though he waves it off whenever I mention it. We've developed a lovely Sunday morning routine of drinking tea, catching up and maybe watching some F1 together. It's simple, but it means the world to me. Overall, life is calm, which is a relief. No drama, no contact from my ex or his family, and no major life changes, just one foot in front of the other. I reread everything I posted last year and revisited many of the comments, and I want to say thank you again. I was in a really dark place, and it was hard to see that I wasn't the villain in this story. A mix of therapy and all the comments helped me come to terms with that. So thank you all, this is my final goodbye. Take care everyone. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.